Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve Larson. This coming weekend, tonight. Tonight.
Yeah, this weekend.
Tonight. This weekend, right? Right now. Tonight. We've got Impact Wrestling is Against All Odds, the Phil Collins homage pay-per-view, which is pretty exciting. And we're going to be doing that 5 Pacific. We're going to be doing a watch-along of that, I should say, at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. This is a cool one because it's like if you're an Ultimate Insider, I think, was it $5?
Free gratis.
It's like $5 a month is the channel membership that you need.
I think so.
For
whatever.
Impact.
Yeah, it's the Ultimate Insider, but you get the show with your membership free gratis. So
right, and I think also if you are an Impact Wrestling Impact Plus member, you don't have to pay anything more. And I think on Fight it's only like $10.
Yeah.
So they do these like every other month pay-per-views in between their big pay-per-views where you just plunk down a little bit, you get to sample the product, their pay-per-views, and you get a bunch of you realize, hey, Impact's pretty fun.
Impact is pretty fun.
So it's a pretty low entry fee if you want to watch along, or if you just want to hang out with us, it's free gratis here at the twitch.tv/Steve Larson. It's the first event in the July predictions thing for that guy over there, Big Red. And then, of course, Money in the Bank is the second one on Saturday. We're going to be doing, of course, live watch along of that as well on the Twitch, followed by our recap. No recap for Impact. We'll talk about that.
Just for fun.
We'll talk about that on the Monday show. We are going to talk about...
No, we won't, because there is no Monday show because it's 4th of July, and we ain't working on the 4th.
You got that right, buddy. We're going to be blowing things up with fireworks.
Yeah, I got some fireworks yesterday.
We're going to be talking... We'll talk about that, I guess, on Tuesday in a jam-packed show.
Yeah. Might be our first ever 2-hour show the way things are going.
I know, right? So we're going to talk about, we are going to talk about today our predictions for Against All Odds, or unofficial predictions. We're going to talk about NXT UK also, because that's a fun show. We're going to talk about the contract status of a very, very popular NXT wrestler. Might be coming due soon. And then, of course, John Cena's status for SummerSlam. Also some very interesting backstage details on the original plans for Forbidden Door. Pretty big deal there. But first, we're going to get this one just out of the way. We're just going to get it out of the way. We're going to talk about Logan Paul. We're going to get that out of the way because it's news. It's news. He's a big deal.
News. I mean, he's a huge deal on the YouTube. He's done some of the boxing stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So WWE and Logan Paul announced yesterday, that Logan had signed a new contract with the company. Now, you know, while The Miz was teased another tag match on Raw with Paul at SummerSlam, Logan let it be known in a video released by WWE after he put pen to paper on this new deal that he has no plans to reform his team with The Miz. What he said, quote, "This is a massive deal, but let's get one thing straight, because I don't want to get this twisted. I did not sign this contract to team up with The Miz. In fact, I want nothing to do with The Miz. That man is dead to me. He is my enemy, and I signed this contract so I can beat The Miz's ass at SummerSlam. Let's go."
Whoa.
Ariel Helwani reported on Twitter that, quote, "Logan Paul has signed a deal with WWE. Per sources, it's a multi-year deal to compete at multiple events per year. No return date set, but could be next month at SummerSlam. Miz would make a lot of sense." Yeah, that's totally going to happen. It's going to be Miz versus Logan at SummerSlam. Logan Paul goes over.
Now, don't get me wrong.
6 confidence points.
High confidence points on Logan Paul. I'm not a fan of his outside the WWE. When he does show up, he's a damn good sports entertainer. He really is, from everything, from his presentation. I mean, all 3 aspects of being good. He's obviously put a lot of work into his in-ring stuff. His look. He's got the $1 million Pokemon card or whatever it is. And yeah, he's comfortable on the mic. He's a good sports entertainer.
Here's the thing, though. I think Meltzer reported this, that part of this deal is like him getting a babyface push.
Mm-hmm.
He seems such a natural heel, though.
He does. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. Yeah. I mean, look, he's only going to be there a couple times a year, which is why this is kind of like a non-story. You know, I think, honestly, I kind of feel like this contract is I mean, it's just so they can do the picture. It's just so they can do the press releases. So he can,
doing the point. And
right.
Stephanie was there.
Yeah, exactly. Like they could have easily just gone about business as normal, and we get the same amount of Logan Paul. Maybe this just commits him to a couple dates as opposed to just doing. I mean, I don't think AEW would have. I don't know. Maybe AEW would have wanted him. Who knows? But yeah, Logan Paul. Whatever. He's every time I think about it. It used to be I was like, oh, I don't want to see this guy. But then every time he'd show up, I just have to admit to myself, hey, he's entertaining. You know, what are you going to do?
Now you look forward to his presence on WWE television.
I don't know about that, but I don't groan when he shows up. You know, I mean, there's some people that I just groan when people show up. With him, I'm like, you know what? He's kind of funny. And he gives a skull-crushing finale better than Miz. He gave one.
He does.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was Ray just selling. I don't know. But he gave that one to I think it was Rey Mysterio. It was actually pretty good.
It was pretty good.
So, yeah, congratulations to Logan Paul. If you love him, if you hate him, whatever, he's going to be in the WWE now. Let's talk about this because this is very interesting. This was really fascinating stuff. So it has to do with scrapped plans for Forbidden Door. So in the latest, of course, there was probably many given the plethora of injuries.
Yeah.
But in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer revealed that the original plan for the Young Bucks were much different at Forbidden Door than originally planned. He said this: Gato's original idea was for the Young Bucks to win the IWGP tag titles on the show and make it AEW versus IWGP tag title. So in that case, it would have been the United Empire putting him up against the Young Bucks. Mm-hmm. It was changed, he continues, and the Young Bucks were on board with that change. There is now a natural push for Young Bucks versus FTR with 4 sets of belts at stake and being pushed as a unique match in wrestling history and could logically be billed as the biggest tag team championship match in history for that reason. What's interesting about that is, number one, I love the fact that the Young Bucks would be behind FTR getting that push and then doing the big show. It also lends credence to the idea that now we have an interim champion. You've mentioned before that you're like, hey, All Out could see main event
All Out with this.
Of All Out be for all those tag titles. They've always been big on tag teams. They are loaded with tag teams.
Yep.
But what's also interesting, if this is true, is the idea that the AAA tag titles would be involved. Now, Young Bucks have done plenty of work in AAA.
They're former AAA tag champs themselves.
They are, absolutely. It is just interesting that certain political things backstage, New Japan's relationship with CMLL is not precluding the AAA tag titles from being bundled in to these other titles. So
I saw FTR on Wednesday. They had all 3 sets of their titles with them.
They did. Yeah, they did. And I think that's pretty great.
It would have been interesting though to have that match happen as the main event of All Out with each team with 2 sets of belts, you know?
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a certain symmetry to that. That's nice. That being said, you know, all the belts on FTR, I won't complain about it. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, though. You know, whether they're going to do this as the main event All Out, or are they going to wait till Full Gear? I don't know. I guess maybe it depends when Punk's going to be back. If they have an idea that Punk is going to be back in a couple months, hey, sure, Punk versus Mox, All Out, and then we'll wait to do FTR and Young Bucks at Full Gear. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to want to load everything into All Out, how much it matters that something main events to that level. A lot of decisions to be made for Tony Khan there. But yeah, no, that's FTR they're having. I mean, right now we're, you know, over midway through the year. You got to think that they're right now, you know, if you're going to take, maybe if you take Viano 4 out of it, Wrestler of the Year for FTR.
I mean, Viano 4 has built a strong case for Wrestler of the Year.
I still need to go back and watch that last Triple.
Me too. Apparently it's spectacular. I mean, right now, Wrestler of the Year for me are FTR, Viano 4, Mike Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm forgetting somebody.
Had a hell of a year.
Yeah, it's had a hell of a year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of good. This is like FTR's this is like Adam Cole's 2019 for FTR.
Yeah, you know? This is their run. Their run of a lifetime.
It's their run of a lifetime. You're absolutely right. Because next year they're going to go back to WWE and put on those clown costumes.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'd be really hard pressed to think that at this point they would. But I guess you never know.
I mean, if they back up the Brinks truck, and you know, literally what they're doing is basically accomplishing everything they can outside of WWE, and they're doing it in the span of 1 year, pretty much. Especially if and when they beat the Young Bucks for those AEW or for the AEW tag titles, like what they've accomplished everything.
Yeah.
And everything they could probably do, save for holding the WWE tag titles at the same time, which isn't going to happen. But
yeah, that's true. But the thing is also, like, there are also a lot of teams that they haven't.
Oh, totally.
Because it's a massive world out there outside of WWE. So
really
I could see them holding off at least a couple more years past whatever their contract is now. Because isn't their contract supposed to be up like next year or something like that? Or
something like that.
I could say there's a lot. I mean, they could have a 3-year run in New Japan. You know, it's like, they have the titles right now, but I'm talking about a run. You know,
yeah.
They could still do a lot of stuff.
Matches against Dangerous Techers, Guerrillas of Destiny.
Yeah.
Maybe we haven't gotten Goto and Yoshihashi versus FTR yet.
Yeah. I mean, they could honestly, like, I think depending on how this Vince investigation is going to pan out, I think a lot of people might be thinking, okay, see how this works out. Let's see who a year from now, 2 years from now, who's at the top in creative, and let's see how they're treating people.
Yeah. Who knows? And also this Young Bucks FTR match will be the rubber match between them.
Yeah.
Each got one win over each other. So, if it's for all the belts, it's worthy of the main event of a pay-per-view.
Oh, I agree. FTR is totally going to win, by the way.
As they should.
Yeah,
as they should.
Absolutely. To cap off that year. Oh, my God.
Give them all the belts.
Yeah.
All the belts.
Absolutely.
Let's talk SummerSlam. FTR is not going to be there, but we had thoughts that maybe John Cena would be there, given all the crap that Theory has been talking about John Cena of late, and we figured they'd be building to a match between the two of them at SummerSlam, especially when we had this 20th anniversary celebration edition of Raw for Cena, and they had a segment together, but it was kind of short, and Theory talked a little bit of crap, but it wasn't like, hey, there's a ton of heat here. So in the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Newsletter, Dave Meltzer reports that particular bout doesn't seem to be happening later this month. This is what Dave had to say, quote, "At one point, the idea was John Cena versus Theory, and there was a tease on television this week. However, Cena is not announced for any future TV dates, and given how many tickets he moved in Laredo, if he was announced for a show, he'd move more tickets right now than anyone except Dwayne Johnson. So it makes no sense not to advertise him. But they wouldn't do such a match without more of an angle, so the match, which is clearly a direction, may also be delayed for WrestleMania." And that's kind of what we had talked about after Raw, just because, they had a segment, but it wasn't such a strong segment that it seemed like it was necessarily pushing towards SummerSlam.
Yeah. I know. I think that we might be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because Money in the Bank is literally Saturday. That's kind of a big deal. And he's got that big Lashley match. I just sort of want to, for me, I'm just going to wait, see what happens on Raw then 2 nights later. Raw's numbers were pretty outstanding as far as Raw is concerned. I mean, it still missed 2 million total viewership, but my goodness, the demo rating was 0.54.
Oh, that's good.
It just narrowly missed 2 million. It was 1.986, which is the best number for a long time. I don't remember last time it got to that. So you got to think maybe they look at that and they're like, well, understandably, if he's got a scheduling thing, then you don't want to do it. But if there was anything beyond that, if he was able to do it and they're like, we want to push it, maybe that'll convince them. Maybe we should do it now.
I'll say this, as far as scheduling, there's been times where we've had a second tier pay-per-view match booked, and they already announced like a high profile match for somebody at the following major pay-per-view. It's happened before.
Yeah.
Where it makes the match that's about to happen, or it'll happen on TV or something, a title match of some sort. Or it makes it plainly obvious who's going to win that match because they're going to have this high profile match down the road at the pay-per-view. So,
yeah. But I mean, I don't know. If this is like, Backlash or Great Balls of Fire or something, yeah. But this is Lashley and it's Money in the Bank. I mean, I think that Theory's probably going to win this and everything, but I'm just saying maybe they want to, or maybe they're just not going to do it. I don't know, but we'll find out soon enough. I would suspect no later than Monday. I mean, if Theory comes out on Monday and just starts ranting about John Cena, then you got to figure they're going to do that. But we shall see.
We shall see. Let's talk Io Shirai. We haven't seen her on NXT.
There's a segue and a joke we're missing here about that we haven't seen Io Shirai, John Cena. We shall see. Can't see him. So just you guys can put that segue together.
Yeah, put it together. It's Friday. It's Friday. So we haven't seen EO.
We have to bring our best for Impact tonight, man.
We do. So I'm coasting this show. And according to Dave Meltzer, it's possible that we won't see her in 2.0 ever again. That's what he's reporting. Quote, Io Shirai has not signed her newest contract offer. She'll be a free agent next month if she doesn't sign her new deal. She had told people in Japan that when her contract was up, she wanted to return to Japan and be closer with her family. Unlike with Kairi Sane, who had to wait until the end of her contract because she left mid-contract and agreed to work as a WWE rep in Japan so she could move back home. Shirai would be free and clear.
Wow. Was Io Shirai, was she married? Is she married or engaged to Evil? Who was engaged to Evil?
Yeah, it's Evil.
Okay. It was Io Shirai, right?
Uh-huh.
Somebody. Okay. Well, that's cool. She's going to join House of Torture.
Oh, wow.
That would actually be awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
I'll be honest, that would actually be something that I
would be pretty
see.
cool.
Yeah. What a dropped ball this would be. I mean, it's already been, let's be honest. She should have been in NXT for like a cup of coffee and then moved to main roster. She's terrific. She's one of the best wrestlers on the roster. And to see her just do NXT and then never on main roster was kind of stupid. So I don't know. If she decides to stay with WWE under the idea that then she'll move to main roster, that'd be cool because I want to keep on watching Io Shirai. I'm not sure. I just don't have a lot of time in my schedule to keep up with, if she goes to Stardom or something like that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But she's terrific. She's absolutely awesome, and whatever she wants to do is great.
Yeah, agreed. Mm-hmm. Agreed. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp Online Therapy. Steve, burnout is usually associated with work, but any of life's roles can leave you feeling overwhelmed and burned out without you really realizing it.
That's true, Larson. So if you're experiencing fatigue, irritability, or a lack of motivation, you could be dealing with burnout. And BetterHelp wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking to someone can help you find out what's causing the stress in your life.
I've been there before. There have been times in my life where I wasn't taking enough time for myself, where I was feeling overwhelmed by life. So I've felt that fatigue, that lack of motivation, that irritability that comes with burnout. And I've gone through the process of trying to find a therapist, so I know how difficult it can be to find the right person to talk to. But BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
It's also much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you could be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/raw. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Athletic Greens. You know me, Steve. I'm always on the lookout for ways to get more energy and improve my gut health. And now that I've started taking AG1, I'm getting 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start my day off right.
Athletic Greens is the one thing with the best things. It uses the best of the best products based on the latest science to support your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, sleep, mental clarity, and aging. Plus, it contains less than 1 gram of sugar and has no artificial anything, no gross chemicals, and no GMOs.
Yeah, I make myself a serving of AG1 first thing in the morning before I eat breakfast, and I've noticed that my gut health has improved and my energy has gone up. And it's been a breeze to work into my daily routine. And whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, AG1 could fit into your lifestyle, and it costs less than $3 a day.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/raw. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/raw to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, Steve, you want to talk Impact?
Yeah, man, let's talk Impact. Of course, Against All Odds tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific.
5 p.m. Yeah, I think that there's 2 pre-show matches, but I don't think we're gonna worry about that unless we want to start at 4.
Were those? No, I don't. Were those?
You don't want to see the dot combat match?
Oh, that's one of them. What's the other one?
Yeah. I don't know.
Is it the influence match?
No, that's on the main card, I think.
That's on the main card?
Yeah, that's on the main card. So the other pre-show match is Taurus versus Laredo Kid.
Hey, that'll be a good match.
It'll be really good.
But we don't need to put that in the dot combat match. That's stupid. I don't want to go up or down in predictions based on a dot combat match. I'm sure.
All right, fair enough.
Rich Swann's going to win that anyways.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's
talk. To do our non-official, non-binding.
Yeah, well, just it's always
against all odds.
It's always good just to see where we're coming from, just to see what we're thinking about these matches, just so we can talk about Impact Wrestling before we go into our full recap. So what match do you want to predict first, Larson?
Let's do America's Most Wanted, Good Brothers and Heath taking on Honor No More. So America's Most Wanted, Heath, and Good Brothers got the stand tall math. Chris Harris, who apparently is not supposed to wrestle anymore, kind of like period, says, no, I want to do this match. Honor No More's got to win something, and I feel like this is one of those things. I have way too many confidence points, but I got 5 on Honor No More.
How many? There's 8 matches?
Yeah.
You've got how much on Honor No More?
5.
You got 5. Let's see here. I've got I'd put probably maybe 5 sounds good. Let's see.
Because
here.
I feel like Honor No More wins this, and then they challenge Good Brothers to the tag title match. Good Brothers beat them.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. So they can go one of two ways, obviously, with this. Chris Harris could get some big moment that helps his redemption story because now he's in good shape and he went down a dark path at some point in the past. Or they could actually get some heat on Honor No More by kind of destroying Chris Harris, which is what they should do. And I think that's what they're going to do.
Or there's this. I'll toss this out there because the Good Brothers and America's Most Wanted made a pitch to PCO to ditch Honor No More and join with them.
Yeah, he could turn on them, huh?
PCO could leave Honor No More.
Oh, man. You might be right about that. Oof. Yeah. All right, you can go 5 on this. I'll go 2.
All right, very well. Depends on show placement.
Get into an early hole.
There we go. Then we got the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match, Sami Callihan versus Moose. Kind of think Moose has to win this
Moose
one,
is
right?
winning this one. Yeah. And then they'll do a rubber match, which will be, I don't know, what's another weird Impact?
Beat the Clock Challenge.
Yeah, there you go. No, how great was the Raven bit?
Oh, Raven's always great, man. That was awesome.
He's so awesome. He had a big old smile on his face when he was on the whatever the carousel.
Oh, the carousel thing. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Moose has got to win this. I'll probably have 5 or 6 confidence points on.
Yeah,
this
I got
one.
4 on him right now. The Knockouts title match: Jordan Grace versus Tasha Steelz. I mean, Jordan just won this at the last show about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, she ain't losing the belt here.
I'd have probably 7 on this one.
I got 6 on Jordan Grace. Next, this one I'm not sure about. So you got Mia Yim and Mickie James tagging against Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. I'm leaning Mia and Mickie.
So they're going to continue this feud here because Mickie and Chelsea Green are fighting at the Southern whatever the thing they're.
Oh, Hostility, yeah.
Southern Hostility, yeah. So they're going to keep this going, which makes me. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything, honestly. I don't know. I mean, maybe that means that Mickie James is not going to get her big victory here, and that'll continue. Because I feel like for her, I don't know. I might go small on Chelsea and Deonna, but I got to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Between now and 5.
I know. Think about that one quite a bit. Next, Speedball Mike Bailey defending the X Division title against Trey Miguel. I feel like Bailey, he just won this belt. He's winning this one.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna hold on to that
points.
title. Yeah, I'd probably have 6 on that one, yeah.
This one's tough. So we got Rosemary and Taya versus the Influence, of course. Giselle Shaw beat Rosemary on Impact last night. She's going to take Madison Rain's spot. And if that was it, I'd probably say, okay, Rosemary and Taya got this. But then later on the show, Rosemary summoned Sinister Minister James Mitchell.
Yeah.
She wants to know where Havoc's at.
Yeah.
because Havoc hasn't been seen. Of course, that's her former tag partner. Now, is Havoc going to make an appearance at this show? And maybe she's upset that Rosemary's already moved on, started teaming with Taya, and cost them the titles.
I get the feeling that just because, like, Rosemary and Taya just got these titles, Havoc's going to show up and be on their team. I'd get some. I'd have decent. I'd have like, I don't know, 3 or 4. Probably 4 confidence points on Rosemary and Taya here.
I'm going to have 1 on this match because I don't know.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Motor City Machine Guns versus Ace Austin and Chris Bay. I really want Bullet Club to win.
Yeah, Ace Austin. Yeah, he's not losing any. Chris Bay might. I mean, if any, he might eat the pin.
Yeah, he just ate the pin last night. Trey Miguel.
Yeah.
We got no go home after this last night whatsoever.
Well, Chris Sabin won his match against Kazarian. Ace Austin won his match against Alex Zane.
But then Chris Bay ate the pin in the opening 4-way bout. So
and Alex Shelley did nothing. I think they're going to give the win to the future of wrestling, man. Ace Austin and Chris Bay. That's where I'd go with this.
Yeah, that's where I'm going right now. 2 confidence points, not a whole lot. Can go either way.
Who fucking knows?
Main event: Josh Alexander versus Confused Cowboy Joe Doring. It's Josh Alexander.
8. Joe Doring, Confused Cowboy is not lost, I don't think, in singles action.
Impact, nope.
In Impact.
Nope.
So they've built this up to be a pretty big deal for this level pay-per-view anyways, but yeah, no, as much as I would love, dude, I would die. I would love Confused Cowboy won that Impact title.
Else.
That'd be amazing.
That would be something else.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Impact then.
Yeah, man. I thought as far as being a go home to a minor pay-per-view, sure, that was good stuff. I don't know what even happened here. We had a Josh, I guess for the main event, we just had like a video package interview type thing. The highlight, I guess, was Raven's promo. Raven was on a playground.
That was really cool.
He was on a playground. Well, there was a cool X Division match.
Yeah, number 1 contender. That was really good.
That was neat. Yeah. Chris Bay, Trey Miguel, Laredo Kid, Steve Macklin. That was cool. I like that the new thing is like Steve Macklin keeps on getting Roned off the apron. Like they did it again because it's a really cool. It's a cool spot.
It is a cool spot.
Yeah.
I don't know why Chris Harris. Granted, I'm not too familiar with his work in years past, but it seems pretty clear that like he's been told don't wrestle anymore. Don't wrestle anymore.
Yeah. But he's, this is such a losers group. I don't know why the Good Brothers are dealing with this. I really don't. They're kind of, I'm not even that huge of a fan of the Good Brothers. They're bigger than this. Like Heath shows up and it's like, James Storm is literally just telling his dude, don't wrestle. I'm going to wrestle. Okay, we're the 5. I don't know. I have no confidence in this group. You might be right. PCO might turn. But that doesn't even mean that team has to win. It could be. He might just leave. He's crazy. Like, what is he going to do?
Yeah, he might just walk out and then Honor No More still win. Because it seems like the whole point of the story is for Honor No More to get a tag title shot against Good Brothers.
Yeah.
And if they beat him here, it justifies that.
They got to get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways,
the August show.
Storm and Harris talking to the Good Brothers. Anderson's like, they got a plan. James Storm has a plan, and we don't know what it is quite. And Carl Anderson's like, "This is a bad idea." It's like, "Yeah, it is." He's like, "But it's the idea. This is a good idea." They all walk up to PCO and they're like, "Hey, PCO, Frankenstein, join us at Against All Odds because Honor No More are crap." And then before he can say anything,
I mean, it's a strong pitch to be fair.
Yeah, yeah, right. Who actually wants to be with Honor No More? Vincent steps in. And he says, "Hey, man. We're taking you guys on tonight. I revived PCO to be with us. He's on No More." And then, so then he leaves. After that.
And that match happened later, yeah. Then we had this really great 4-way match. Chris Bay, Trey Miguel, Laredo Kid, Steve Macklin. It was a lot of fun, as you'd expect. Trey Miguel ends up getting the win after pinning Chris Bay with a Meteor. He's facing Speedball at Against All Odds.
Yep, that's going to be another terrific match between these two. After that, we had a promo, Raven hanging out in a children's playground talking about, when I was a kid, I thought that being a kid was terrible, so I came up with a match. It's a Clockwork Orange, which relates nothing to the Clockwork Orange movie or book.
No.
But it sounds cool, and it's a cool cult. I don't know if it's a cult movie, but kind of a cult movie. House of Fun match video. We got the whole thing with him doing stuff. It was
nice to kind of highlight the history of the bout because it's something that's been done.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really cool. And Raven's awesome. He should be on TV more.
Yeah,
even if
Raven on
it's
TV
just
all
at
the time.
AEW eating popcorn like that one time.
Oh, that was so great. So great.
Everybody was like, "Is he the exalted one?"
Yeah.
No,
Huge fans of Raven here.
I'm just eating popcorn.
It's a little Easter egg. It's nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Then we got Giselle Shaw versus Rosemary. Of course, Giselle Shaw was pitching the idea of her joining up with the Influence since Madison Rayne is out with a busted nose. So the Influence come out to commentary for this match. Down towards the finish, Influence get up from commentary. Tenille pushes Taya, who came with Rosemary, to the ring, into the ring post. This distracts Rosemary while she's setting up for a spear. She turns around, looks for a spear, and ends up running into a knee from Shaw.
Ooh, yeah, it was a vicious looking knee too.
It was.
It
Was. Giselle gets the win, and afterwards, the Influence raise Giselle Shaw's arm. So at least she's at least in her probationary period member of the Influence.
She's like the Sami Zayn of the Influence.
Yeah, honorary influence.
Honorary influence. Yeah. After that, we had a Mickie James interview. She's like, the reality is I've beaten Deonna Purrazzo over and over and over again. The only time Chelsea's ever had an advantage on me was because of Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. And then Chelsea and Deonna step in, and Chelsea's like, hey, Mickie, you never mention your tag partner. You only care about yourself. Deonna says, not only are we a tag team, we're also best friends. And you got to start thinking about somebody other than yourself, Mickie. And Mickey's like, yeah, I've got a bad habit of always fighting my own battles, no matter the cost. And then she sucker punches Chelsea and just tries to take out Deonna. But they kind of get the upper hand. Then Mia Yim steps in and she fends them off and helps out Mickie. And they're sort of like, hey, dude, thanks, appreciate that. You're good. Yep. So yeah, they end up becoming team now.
Yep, they're a team now. So then we get Rosemary and Taya backstage, and like Taya is holding like a bag of some sort, and Rosemary's going through it trying to find something. Eventually, she finds a ring on a gold chain, and she uses it to summon the sinister minister James Mitchell.
That dude was in the middle of a three-way.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And so she says, "I got one question for you. Where's Havoc?" And Mitchell first says, "I don't know." Rosemary presses some more, and he's like, "I've seen her wandering around the darkness somewhere." And Rosemary says, "I got a message for her. All hands on deck." And Mitchell says, "Well, I don't know if she wants to come back to this world, but I'll pass the message along."
So I don't know if she wants to stop playing Fallout on her Twitch channel, but I'll let her know.
Yep.
After that, we had Savannah Evans versus Jordan Grace, of course, with Savannah Evans, former champion Tasha Steelz. And, of course, she's trying to get involved in all this business. But Jordan Grace ends up getting that win with a very impressive-looking muscle buster on Savannah Evans. That was rad.
What a great move with muscle busters.
Oh, it's terrific.
It's an awesome move. Then we get a Joe Doring video package highlighting his career, showing off some of his accolades.
This was rad. This was awesome.
Triple Crown winner in All Japan Pro Wrestling. It's great.
This guy would have been a freaking household name if this was like the early 90s. He's like such an early 90s,
He really is.
Big dude from America goes to Japan and dominates guy. Oh, man. After that, we had a Josh Alexander video package where he does like a bunch of he just like an interview thing, right? I'll be honest with you.
It's a sit-down interview, yeah.
I kind of just fast forward through this because I don't think... Was there any revelation here in this interview, Larson?
No, it was just him talking about... so apparently they didn't show it on the show, but after Slammiversary ended, Diener and Doring come down to beat him up after he beats Eric Young. And it's, again, this idea that, well, did they do that in their own accord, or did Eric Young tell them to go do it? And no one's seen Eric Young since Slammiversary. And Josh Alexander just says, I got to focus on Joe Doring to get through this match because he's like my toughest challenge. But at the same time, got to wonder, is Eric Young going to show up again? So is this going to be some beef between Violent by Design, or is this some plan that's being hatched by Eric Young?
I have a plan. Josh Alexander, they always do these talkie segments with him.
Yeah,
talking weapon, not the walking weapon. Talking weapon.
Oh, look at that. That's good.
Like that. I thought about that like 2 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, I got a good one here. Get this, guys.
Did you write it down, or do you just keep it in your mind?
Up here in my sharp mind, of course. Anyways, what are we talking about? Impact. After that,
we moved on to NXT UK already.
Oh, JD McDonough. Perfect. Vincent and PCO versus the Good Brothers. This is a mess. So the Good Brothers look for a magic killer on Vincent. PCO breaks it up.
I don't know why I put Vincent pisses Swanton instead of Mrs. Swanton.
Vincent, I like that. Vincent pisses Swanton. Vincent misses a Swanton. Carl Anderson gets a backwoods for the win here. Honor No More then come out and attack. James Storm joins the brawl. Honor No More get the upper hand, and then poor Chris Harris hits the ring, and they just start laughing. they don't know. He's like, "Whoa,
Just
everybody!"
make fun of him,
and then they just start making fun of him. It's the rudest thing I've ever seen.
Is.
And then to make matters worse, Heath comes out.
Yeah.
I'm a one-man band. And then he hands Harris. He's got like a baton, and he gives Harris a baton, and they start like doing this thing with it. Hey sucker, we're gonna get you.
Yeah.
And then they beat down Honor No More, and the last dude in the ring there is Taven. He's like, okay guys, I'm just gonna leave. And then he just eats all sorts of finishing moves.
Yeah.
This is a mess.
It was a mess. So we're backstage with good brothers James Storm, Heath, and Chris Harris, and Heath is like, yeah, I'm gonna join with you guys. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for Rhino. I'm the fourth member. And then Chris Harris, and they're all cheering and happy. And then Chris Harris says, yeah, and I'm number 5, and everybody's cheering and happy except James Storm. And James Storm says, no, you're not supposed to do this. My understanding is you're not supposed to wrestle anymore, Chris Harris. And Chris Harris says, what? I'm in great condition. My family says I can't do this. You say I can't do this. They say I got to move on, but I can't move on until I finish this. And then James Storm relents and says, all right, we came in together. We're going to go out together.
Maybe James Storm will turn on his own team. Be like, you're not supposed to be doing this, man. This is for your own good. I don't know. Yeah. He should have just been like, bro, they just made fun of you out there. like they just started laughing at you.
I know.
Anyways, after that, we had a terrific match. Ace Austin versus Alex Zane. Former buddies. Former, traveling down the road together guys. And, now Ace Austin is too sweet. So, Ace Austin gets the win here with Fold.
With some help from Chris Bay.
Yeah.
Grabbing Alex Zane's foot to try to get back in the ring. Austin hits the Fold. Then we had our main event. The Future, Frankie Kazarian versus the Future, Chris Sabin. This match for the future of wrestling.
We found out who the actual future of wrestling is a 40-year-old named Chris Sabin from Detroit,
Michigan. Yeah, Chris Sabin got the win, yeah.
This is a really good match. This is a really good
match.
match. It is still shocking how quick these guys are at their advanced age of mid-50s. But no, they look terrific. They're just absolutely phenomenal wrestlers. Sabin gets the win here with a cradle shock, but there was all sorts of false finishes and shit. Everybody got their shit in, and it was a really terrific match. It
was a lot of fun. Let's talk NXT UK. Of course, this one was main evented by a Trent Seven promo, kind of explaining his actions, and it's not exactly new territory that he kind of explored here. But it's Trent Seven. He's all charm.
He's great. He's wearing the blazer with the shorts, the short
and the glasses. He had some glasses on.
And the glasses. He had a PowerPoint presentation. But his central thesis was, Tyler changed, I didn't. I never lost my killer edge. Tyler did. The namaste and the om. Yeah, he's not down with the Zen stuff, man. He's not about it.
Nope.
So that was his main promo. We'll talk about that more in depth. I thought it was fine. I don't know. There's kind of a problem with these excursions, Larson. I feel like more often than not, it just sort of derails what's going on in UK. Like, we talked about this a little bit last week. Briggs and Jensen come in, get the tag titles, and then they leave. We see the NXT UK tag titles now in NXT as opposed to them doing a stint there and then dropping them.
Well, I'm sure they will do a stint there and then drop them. However, that stint is all pre-filmed. It'll play out over the course of the week, and then while they're tag champs, before they drop them in UK, they're going to have them on NXT 2.0, which I don't think is a terrible idea because it might intrigue people. Oh, I like Briggs and Jensen. They're on NXT UK. Maybe I'll go check it out. I get the idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I don't know if that's like the idea that they have in mind. I think they're just like, hey, we need to get like. We need to sap NXT UK of some cool shit, put it on the NXT guys so they can be kind of cooler.
Well, another thing you got to keep in mind though is that in terms of the pecking order,
I know. This was my NXT point last week. I get it.
Is below 2.0.
I know.
So while you might be a rookie in 2.0, in terms of like think of it like minor league baseball. 2.0 is like AAA. NXT UK is maybe double A, maybe even single A.
The bottom line is this: what makes for a better product? Now, when they bring in excursions and they have the NXT kids mingle with the NXT UK, I don't think that inherently like lessens NXT UK's product. You could make the case because it's spots that could be used for UK talent in those spots, but I'm fine with it. It shows a shared universe, and I'm cool with that. But we also had last night Fallon Henley taking on Amelia McKenzie. Now I'm sure they're telling a story here with Amelia McKenzie, but if you talk about deflating a crowd, everybody knows that Amelia McKenzie has like a history going back, I don't know, 5 years or so of being a damn good pro wrestler, even at her really young age. Fallon Henley is new. She's not as nearly as good a wrestler as Millie McKenzie. Millie McKenzie, that entire crowd knows Millie from before NXT UK.
Yeah, of course.
So Fallon comes in and beats Millie McKenzie. And yes, we had some story beats with Millie where she's starting to do some heel stuff.
Well, and the whole time commentary is talking about how Amelia has not been able to find, since being in NXT UK, her killer instinct. They even referenced her wrestling on the indies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
They says since she's been here, she has not been able to find that killer instinct. And then throughout the match, that was starting to come up. And then what happened was, rather than go for the finish, she just kept on doing the same thing over and over again. Again, find the killer instinct and know what the next thing to do. So I understand your point, and I understand the point about the fans maybe being a bit deflated about the outcome. So long as they're using those on excursion to tell stories and hopefully advance characters, I don't mind if they lose. Doesn't bother me. That's not like Millie McKenzie's been winning a ton of matches as it was anyways.
No, which is another problem anyways. And again, if they're telling a story, great, but it does feel like shoehorning NXT kids into NXT UK derails the product. A little bit. I'm not into it. D Familia should have won last week anyways.
Oh, they'll get him off. They'll get him off Briggs and Jensen when they drop him.
I hope so. We opened up with Blair Davenport versus Angel Hayes. Blair Davenport's first match, B. Priestley. Since she was injured in her match against, I think it was Mako Satomura. There was a title match. Davenport gets the win here with Falconer. It was a pretty long match, so Angel Hayes got plenty of stuff in. She gets on the mic afterwards, says, "I'm back, and I'm here to crush all of your hope." And the crowd
she's going after Amel.
What's that?
She's going after Amel then next, I would guess. Amel's the French Hope.
Oh, there you go then. Yeah.
That's her nickname.
And the crowd was like, "Oh, I thought you were here. I thought you were going to give us hope, but you're just going to crush them."
Crush.
So, no.
Then we got Kenny Williams. He's in Sid Scala's office. And then Kenny says, "Oh, I finally figured out who the masked man is. I know who it is." And Sid says, "Well, that's why you're here, because you got a match against at the request of your opponent next week." And in walks Tiger Turin. And Kenny says, "I'm going to beat you. I'm going to take your mask off and reveal who you are." And he's about to leave. He says, "But right now you could stay here and clean up, because he's got his papers, plastic."
Dude, he said who he was. He said, I'm going to show everybody that you're Amir Jordan."
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. I was like, that was weird. Why don't you wait on, why don't you do the reveal?
Yeah, that's strange.
Because Turin didn't say anything. He was like, I was like, that's the weirdest thing. I was like, why did he just say that?
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, it was weird. After that, we had Noam Dar and Shaw Samuels walking into the UK PC. They walk up and Mark Coffey's doing some training. I love all the PC stuff here.
Oh,
it's funny too, because when I looked up 2 weeks ago, I was like, okay, I know that it's Amir Jordan.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what internet says, and so I looked up Tiger Turn, and it just said, and I looked up who is Tiger Turn, and then it was like one of those quick answers on Google. It says Tiger Turn is Amir Jordan.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a link to Amir Jordan's Wikipedia page or something like that.
No, it was just one of those things where you can get a fast question and answer.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, spoiler alert, please. Anyway, so Noam Dar and Shaw Samuels walk into the UKPC. They walk up as Mark Coffey's doing his training. Mark says that you're a bunch of I missed so much of this because there was just so much yelling and stuff going on. So Noam Dar says, "I didn't have to cheat to beat Mark, Wolfgang, or Joe, all of Gallus, and I ran Joe out of town." And Mark says, "The only reason you won is because Shaw was ringside." He says, "I guarantee if he's not ringside, I beat you for that Heritage Cup." Shaw says, "I'll take that 101 on Coffee, and I'll even use my own money." And then a bunch of Performance Center recruits come over, and start
placing bets.
Placing bets. Yeah. Well, that's gonna. It always backfires on Shaw Samuels. It's awesome.
It's pretty great. Then we got Amelia McKenzie versus Fallon Henley. At one point during the match, mentioned it. Fallon tweaks her knee. Amelia goes right after it, hits some shin breakers, but she keeps going for the same move over and over and over again rather than moving on. Fallon reverses a shin breaker to roll up to get the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then we got an Oliver Carter interview. He's asked if he'd been checking in on Ashton Smith. He says, yeah. Di Familio walk in, and then Teo Man says, oh, you're all by yourself. You need a family. And Charlie Dempsey says it's a dangerous place out there. And Raja tells him, we have your back. And Teo Man offers him a spot. Di Familia.
They're so close. They just get up in his business.
I know.
It's not a great recruitment strategy.
Mm-mm.
People don't like it's these days. You just back up a little bit.
Space, please.
Yeah. So what do you think? You think he's going to join or no?
No, of course not.
You know, if I took one look at that, I'd say, look, how about this? Let's negotiate. I'll join. However, when we do one of your apartment videos,
fully catered.
I want the best fish and chips.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we had a Shirai interview at the little Performance Center gym right there. And she's like, yeah, my debut felt good. And then those assholes, Zaya Brookside and Eliza Alexander, walk up to her. And Eliza's like, hey, you thinking about sticking around here? And they're just like thinking about sticking it to her. And then Mako and Amelia step in. And they're like, you got to play by our rules. And Mako says, you guys talk too much. If you want to step in the ring with me and Shirai, we're going to teach you guys a lesson. And then she goes to doing some squats. Then
we got Shaw Samuels versus Wolfgang. This is a fun match. Early on, Wolfgang hurts his shoulder. Shaw's just working it. At one point, Wolfgang starts to come back. He's looking for a slam. His shoulder gives out. Later on, he goes with the top rope. Noam Dar gets on the apron to distract him. And so Wolfgang eventually tries for like a double axe handle. Shaw reverses that to a spine buster, gets a 2. Wolfgang later hits a spear, but his arm's too busted up. He's slow to cover. Shaw eventually crawls to the apron. He drapes Wolfgang's arm over the top rope. He goes to the top rope looking for a frog splash. Wolfgang gets his knees up. He hits some of his stuff. Spear to get the win.
Yeah,
I swear Wolfgang has the best spear.
Yeah, he does.
And the way he does like the twisting fun splash, he almost does like a senton on somebody rather than a crossbody. It's great.
Oh, it's awesome. Great. No, he's terrific, man. He's terrific. And then we had our main event segment. It was Trent Seven in his promo. He comes out and he's like, hello, I'm going to use visual aids to show why I attacked Tyler. He throws to the screen as a still of him with his arm just deep up in Tyler's freaking front area. And he's like, oh, look at that. He said it's the best low blow ever. And more importantly than that, it represents a turning point. It's the most important moment in British sports. Now, Larson, there's been a lot of huge moments in British sports. Usually they involve football. But he's claiming that this low blow is actually bigger than any of those moments. He says, and the fans are like, no, it's not. And he's like, oh, you know it is. You know it is. Because the truth is this place was dead. The studio at Ghost Town. And now look at all of you here now. Because it is. They're starting to pack the BT Sports Arena a little bit more. And he says, look at all you here now. He says, you're all here now because Trent Seven's on top. He says, this is where I like to be, right at the top, the center of attention. Crowd starts chanting for Tyler. And he says, oh, he's done. He says, I'm the center of attention now. He says, we were the center of attention as British Strong Style and Mustache Mountain. He said, promoters begging us to be on their shows. He says, that's why it wasn't me that changed. It was Tyler. I never lost my killer instinct. I knew I had to do whatever it took to win, but Tyler lost his nerve. The will to win is gone, and it's lost in all the and all the namaste. And he says, Tyler knows he's not coming back to NXT UK to fight me. And he said he's lost his fighting spirit. He's a little weak boy. And he says, I'm NXT UK. I'm British Strong Style. I'm Mustache Mountain. And then he starts to leave. And sort of at the corner behind the barrier is one of the fans. All the fans are giving Trent shit. Well, there's one in particular. And he's like talking shit. And they're talking shit back and forth. And Trent's really focusing on this guy. Well, the fan then jumps the barricade. Security comes and holds him back, and Trent's like, "Oh, look at you!" And then big kick to the nuts of that fan,
right in the front area. Yep.
And the refs come out and they escort Trent backstage.
You knew it was planned because when the fan jumped the barricade, he didn't get the shit kicked out of him right away.
Yeah.
Because that's what usually happens.
It would have been a lot more awkward and messy. But, I give it up to them, man. I love those staged moments. And the fans were really into this stuff, too. Yeah. There's still, I don't know if it's sort of like the sort of very, I don't know, sort of sanitary atmosphere of BT Sports Arena. But there's still, or maybe it's they need to pack more people in. But there's something a little bit missing about... Remember how just ruckus the crowd used to be, man?
Yeah.
I don't know what do you think it is that might be missing?
It feels like a TV show, but not a wrestling show.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, maybe. Okay, how do you remedy that?
You get it out of a television studio into a wrestling venue. There's an atmosphere when you have. And I'm not saying this is the fans' fault. I think part of it is how the show is produced, and they can pump in all the audio they want either during the show or in post to get the reactions from the crowd that they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think for me, it's the aesthetic of the studio, the production of the show, and the fact that it's entirely possible that the crowd response has been manipulated in post. That makes it feel more like a television production as opposed to you go to a wrestling venue. And sure, I guess they could add noise and post and stuff like that, but the atmosphere is different. Mm-hmm. Reactions just kind of seem and feel more organic, because since they've moved shows to the studio, even with now that they're putting people in there, you haven't seen stuff like if you hate Gibson, shoes off.
Yeah.
You don't see stuff like that there.
Yeah.
Whereas when they were having shows at actual wrestling venues, that stuff would happen just organically all the time. And that's missing.
It might be simple thing. Beer. Which they have at wrestling venues. You just get the people in, a couple dark matches, a couple points, and then there'll be a bit more ruckus.
That's
but also,
possible.
Dude, there is something to be said about, by and large, the Brit wrestling scene was such an organic thing when it came up. Mm-hmm. And the fans followed them into UK, and especially because they were doing them at those venues, which they had probably been running venues, whether it was Rev Pro or Progress or whatever, had been running those venues before. And so there wasn't a lot different about it. Now, COVID stopped everything. They moved into the new place. They were doing empty arena stuff. It's like a restart. And then on top of that, you get other people from NXT 2.0 coming in. And I don't think that's exclusively it. I'm not harping on that.
Well, also you got a lot of the people from the first and second class of NXT UK that are gone.
They're gone. Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that they had already developed a relationship with. Mm-hmm. And the crowd is starting to. They're starting to develop relationships with, the new wave of people that have been in since then. Mm-hmm. But no, that's a good point. A lot of those people are gone that were there before. Yeah. But also,
and then it's also just getting to the point now too, where a lot of the groups, especially that have been there from the beginning, that have developed that rapport with fans. Now they're breaking them up. Mustache Mountain, no more. Gallus, as soon as Joe comes back, they're going to blow up.
Yeah.
So even the stuff that feels familiar in NXT UK is changing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 So anyways, that's that. We've got a SmackDown and Royal Rampage tonight. Mm-hmm. On SmackDown, we've got Raquel Rodriguez, Lacey Evans. Shotzi is going to fight. It's going to square off, according to the preview, against Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Asuka in a battle of the brands. So now Survivor Series is the second time of the year.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Twice a year now.
Twice a year.
Also says here, the New Day look to repel the raid of the Viking Raiders.
God, I hope they don't do that thing again where they put the PNGs up on this.
They probably are. They're going to have the pyro with the lights up really bright so you can barely see it. You just hear the noise.
Ugly. And then at Rampage has Royal Rampage, so it's like the Royal Rumble, but it's like it was taped, so they still have the two rings up, and they're going to do
Oh, the rules are a little different. I read about them. So there's going to be people going to separate rings, and then the winners of those two rings will then wrestle.
Isn't there like a red and blue thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. So yeah, Winner gets a shot. Does winner gets a shot at the title? Is that what this is?
Yeah,
that's
Mox,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
We've also got the Young Bucks versus Hiroki Goto. And then Nyla Rose.
And Yoshihashi. It's not a handicap match. It's not the Young Bucks.
There was a joke.
Oh, you're trying to diminish the skills and reputation of Yoshihashi, I see.
Well, no, it was a joke on Twitter. Somebody like scratched out Yoshihashi and was like, "Oh, the dream match everybody wants: Young Bucks versus Goto." And then Nyla Rose, or as one of the TNT advertisements had, Nyla Rosa versus Toni Storm. Some sort of Rawgate conglomeration of Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa apparently was what TNT was aiming for. Twitter's got a lot of funny stuff on it.
Sometimes.
Anyways, Twitch chat, stick around. We will answer some of your questions if you want. We'll hang out for a bit. Thanks, everybody else, for tuning in. We appreciate it. If you're listening in the audio realm, leave us a rating, review, or a comment. It really helps boost the profile of Going In Raw. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notify bell so you always know when we go live or when we have new content out. And, check out one of the videos that's going to show up on the screen in a little bit here. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, here to tell you to go support Going In Raw and Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the weekend wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.